Robbie's Kitchen. You may remember that I've set myself a 40-day challenge of baking different things from this classic book, Good Housekeeping Cookery Companion from 1954, 60 years ago. Now we've had a couple of sweets, and unfortunately from what I've seen you're going to have a lot of sweets by the end of this course. But today we found a nice little savoury, and it's called curry knots. And that's the little ones there that we're going to try and make today. Okay? Right. For this recipe, you're going to need 2 ounces of our oat butter and margarine, 4 ounces of flour, which I've already sieved. You've seen me do that in a previous program. You're going to need, as the name suggests, a little bit of curry powder. My wife and I had a slight argument over this. I wanted to go for hot, she wanted to go for mild. We met in the middle. And a pinch of salt. Not too much, because you won't be needing that too much. And a bit of water, which I'll explain later. Right. To start, we need to rub the margarine into the flour. And don't worry folks, I always wash my hands before every single show. And this is how you rub, okay? That's not how you rub. Okay. No, this is really how you rub. You just pick it up with your fingers and you run it over like this, okay? You watching? Just keep picking it up, letting it run through your fingers. And this will take a bit of time, so it'll be cut. Now what you're trying to aim for is a sort of breadcrumb-like sort of consistency. Now this won't be easy to do if you've got warm hands. The secret to this is always make sure you've got cold hands. That's why this isn't as perfect as say my wife's would be. That's another story. My wife's got very cold hands. But yeah, that's as good as we're going to get it. Now, I'm going to very quickly wash my hands again. The next bit. Now, strangely enough, the next bit asks for your sieve again. Although you're not going to need a lot of this, because what the actual recipe calls for, and you've seen this before, is our oat friend, the teaspoon. And you just need to put in a teaspoon of curry powder into your sieve and work that through. It's a pity you can't smell the kitchen right at the moment. Yeah. If your kitchen smells like curry at this point, you'll understand why. Right, okay. There's your curry powder. And into this you add a bit of salt. As I said, not much, just a pinch, you know. Don't want to get too heavy with it. And then you get your oat friend that we've met in the previous episodes, the wooden spoon, and you can just give that a quick stir and make sure it's all mixed in right over nicely. because that curry smell really comes through with just a little teaspoon of the stuff. Right, now at this point you add your water. You said you didn't need a lot of, you just need to put it in and stir so it binds together. That's basically all you need the water for with this recipe, is your binder. Which, as you see, even a little amount of water causes it to stick together quite nicely. And that was a little splash, wasn't it, that I used? Because if you use too much water, then what you'll end up with is a soppy mess. There you go, your dough. Well, let's get this out of the way. Because you can probably guess what the next step is. Excuse me, please, Mrs. Carbohydrator. And you just... Now, I hope I've discussed before the importance of flouring your board. So things don't stick to the board. Right. For this one, you really are going to have to flour your hands. I'm sure. Oh, yes. Really do make sure you do flour your hands, because this next bit is the fun bit. I want you to imagine, and it doesn't matter which country you come from, I'm sure you'll be able to relate with this one. I want you to imagine that this piece of dough, right, is the head of your government. Okay? Or perhaps the head of your treasury in your country. And what you need to do is basically knead it over so there's no cracks. And you really need to be angry in order to knead. Yeah, take that, David Cameron. What was that, George Osborne? You thought doubling the cost of bus fare was a good idea? Oh, what's that? You thought taking money off the elderly was quite a fun thing to do? Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Yeah. As you can see, it takes a while, but you get there in the end, you know. Just... I mean, my wife's probably currently laughing at the moment, because it's been a few years since I last did any kneading. In fact, if I know correctly, and she can be vocal on this matter if she wishes, when I did used to bake, I used to make bread, and I used to let her do all the kneading of the bread.
Oh.
Yes. But she used to love kneading, because it helps us get her anger out that she would usually take out on me, if you catch my drift. Anyway, once it's kneaded, your next job is get some more flour so with that little damp, and you just roll it out with your hand. Until you end up with a sausage form, and that will eventually get thinner and thinner, in theory. Get that there. Right, so as you can see, our actual board here is a bit smaller than the rest we could do with, but yeah, about that long. If you want to get technical, you know, you can make it a bit thinner if you've got the room. However, if you haven't got the room, there's always the backup method, which, as I said, you just push it along, bring it down, push it along, bring it down, push it along, bring. This is actually a lot easier, isn't it? Just nice and easy, yeah? Just push it along, bring it down, push it along, bring it down. I mean, you're going to have to cut these into strips later anyway, so push it along, bring it down, push it along, bring it down. And as you can see, it does stretch out, become a lot thinner, and the theory works, in theory. But then what you do, I'll show you this as an example. Once you get to the sort of measurement you want, you just, this is the tricky bit. I'm not being the great cook that I am, but I'm gonna dread. The idea is that if it's thin enough, you just turn it around and you turn it into a little knot, which it's not.
Okay. Probably a little big, but not an easy one to do. So, but you try, and bring it over, and bring that bit underneath, like so. I'm not doing it again.
Okay, so clearly this wasn't the easiest recipe to work with. You know, I was originally going to call this series An Idiot in the Kitchen, but my wife told me probably best not to go with that title. Listen, you won't get these sort of high chef looking type results from here. You'll get the real results that you should aim for yourself. See, the real important thing with food is how something tastes. Now, the oven is preheated to gas mark 6, as usual. I'll be flashing up the temperatures in the guide later. But gas mark 6, you just pop them in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. Oh, I know today has not been the easiest of recipes to deal with. A bit tricky with the twists, what have you. But at one point I even had to call my wife in. Right, let's see how they turned out anyway. Well, they're nice and golden brown, as you can see. But as I always believe, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And as the cook, it's my privilege to have first taste. Like a biscuit. A spicy biscuit. A very spicy biscuit. Oh, yes, I think those of you who like your spices, you're going to enjoy that. Or if you want a milder version, pick up a milder curry powder. A hotter version, pick up a hotter curry powder. But yeah, they're nice. Well, that's all it for me today. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless.